Hello, Vanakkam, and welcome to Sudarshan's podcast. I'm Sudarshan, the host. So today I have Chirag Parmar, who is the head of marketing at ShopSell, which is a sales enablement platform, and he also have a side hustle going on, which is something really interesting called Brand Pro, which is kind of I would say leveling the field of marketing. Someone who's like Chirag and me can do almost same job when it comes to few things in marketing. I wouldn't say everything, few things in marketing. So, yep, very interested. I mean, happy to have
Thank you
you
so
here,
much,
Chirag.
Sudarshan.
Welcome to the
Really
pod.
excited to do this. And thank you so much for being so kind with my introduction. It's not been that hunky dory all along, but sure. Thanks. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. So, of course, recently I started this new practice of sending a questionnaire to all my guests and understand what they really want to talk, what are their strengths, and with that, I make my agenda for the pod. Yep. After your responses, one of the things I want to start here is the responses were more about AI distribution, positioning, and trust and things. So, okay, let's start with one of the AI-ish question, something which everyone are interested. What is something that mattered 3 years back, pre-AI era, I would say, 3 years back? Yeah, that is when ChatGPT public version was rolled out, which something in B2B marketing that mattered 3 years ago, which is not at all a thing now
Okay.
or getting
So
obsolete now.
let's go 5 years back. Okay. I'll discount the early days of
Okay.
ChatGPT also. Let's go 5 years back. 5 years back, the biggest vertical within marketing was content. A typical blog, let's say a 1500 word blog, depending on the quality, would range anywhere between a week to 4 weeks, depending on the level of research and the writing style and revisions and all of that. Today, that has come down to 15 seconds.
Is it?
Literally 15 seconds if you know how to ask AI to do the job for you.
If you have
If you have workflows in place, if you know what a really good blog looks like. So, earlier, marketing teams relied on a lot of support from seniors, and they would guide them, they would teach them, hey, this is right, this is wrong, this is what good quality looks like. Today, that is no longer the differentiator. Today, if you know what you want, you can get things done like in a matter of minutes, right? Just to give you an example, in our organization right now, we don't have a content marketing vertical at all. We don't have content writers, we don't have content distributors. We use AI for pretty much all of that. And the kind of response that we're getting in terms of rankings, in terms of traffic, in terms of the quality of content that we're churning out, pretty amazing, I would say. So it's no longer about creativity, it's more about how quickly can you get things to market, right? That's what has changed recently. Can somebody who's just starting their business, let's say a pre-PMF organization or a Series A organization, just building their organization structure, hiring their first marketers, can they compete with the likes of, let's say, a Neil Patel or a HubSpot or a Salesforce for that matter? Absolutely. That's possible. That's what's changed.
They can produce the content, but the outcome still rely on multiple things:
It does.
backlinks, domain authority. I mean,
So
when
there's
it comes
a
to
very
SEO
common
and content.
misconception around using AI for content. People say that Google penalizes you for using AI content, which I feel is, I don't know, it's some skeptic sitting somewhere in some office who was scared of AI and then they cooked up this story. Why would a company build a product and then penalize its customers for using the product? Google built Gemini. Google built the AI mode. And if people are using Gemini, why would Google penalize their own customers for that? Right? We've written blogs that rank in position one in like 4 days, 5 days, week max. We don't have the best DA because our website is like 3 years old. We never had a marketing organization or function about 6 months back. So marketing was pretty much non-existent. Our DA somewhere around 30, 35. We still rank in position one.
Is that for the less difficulty keyword? Because that also matters, right? If you compete for a very difficult keyword, it will be tough for you to
Yeah,
rank in
absolutely.
the top.
But
I mean, the SERP.
the more So it's about long tail, right?
Yeah, even getting
It's
index
not
is
about
also
getting
a thing,
indexed.
right? I
So
mean,
for
yeah.
you to rank higher for high difficulty keywords, you need to start ranking for low difficulty keywords. That's what gives Google an indication that your quality of content is high. And that's what
Yeah.
eventually that reduces your budgets for performance marketing, your spends for performance marketing. If your website page quality is higher, your ads get a better position in those 3 or 4 in Google search that you get. So it helps you reduce your costs. So any bit of effort that you put on building your website eventually compounds into something big.
First thing, content. What other things getting obsolete or become obsolete?
After content, the next thing I feel is design. So I need specialist designers today. Uh, can I do with a team of 2 designers? Yes. And I can create great quality videos. I can create great assets. I can create great creators for my website, for social media. I mean, the basic design element is all available with AI. What I need is that little bit of oomph on top of everything that gives me that, oh, wow, this is amazing. A great designer who has a great design sense, who knows what the end output would look like. And that's pretty much true with anything across the organization whoever's using AI. Right? If you know what the end product needs to look like, your output will be great. If you don't know that, you're doomed. Right? With that fear of AI will replace you, AI will not replace you. A person who knows how to use AI will replace you, essentially. So that's, yeah, that's the way.
Okay, one of the things I'm seeing is enrichment got a lot easier after the inception of tools like Clay. What else happened? Is there anything we are missing out, Chirag?
So demand generation.
Things got a lot
So
easier, but yeah, I
I'll
mean, I
give you an
wouldn't say
example. So
obsolete. Yeah.
we've for the longest time people have been harping that email marketing is dead, email marketing does not work. We've completely changed the game on email marketing. Today we're sending out
Okay.
thousands of emails every day, and every single one of them is super hyper personalized. We've got AI workflows in place, and let's say you're a CXO in an organization. I know your industry, I know your seniority, I know the challenges of that industry, I know the challenges that you particularly face. I have access to your social media and I have my product. I marry all of these together, and the email that I send out compels even the MDs and CEOs of top enterprise companies to respond. We're doing an equal amount of demand generation with one person in the team as compared to a 7 people SDR team. We're doing the same amount, right? So
Got
email
it.
marketing as
Got it. Yeah.
in general has changed. All our ads that we're running are again optimized with AI. AI can learn about what our competitors are doing, what their content strategies like, what their headlines look like, what descriptions look like, and we sort of use that as an input, make it 10 times better, and we run ads, and that's giving us a lot of leads. So
Got it.
the thing is, I'm not in a state where I support people who reduce team sizes with AI. I want to make them more. The
Why is
same
that?
team, if that can give you 10x better results, then I would ideally be stupid to fire people and replace them with AI.
Okay, this is one of the problems I'm facing, and also hearing from other folks I'm talking to. But the speed
Here
of
to help.
adoption is something
Please.
is very
Sorry, you
hard in
triggered my
a
Google. Sorry.
10-member team,
So
right?
I'll tell you where the disconnect is. People who are mediocre in what they do get really defensive and really, they get into that clamshell the moment they hear the term AI. Every time you build an AI tool and try to sell it to a mid-tier manager, he's going to find 10 different faults in your tool. The same conversation when you have with the head of that function, he'll tell you 10 things that he can do with your tool, right? And that's what AI is amplifying. AI is like a magnifier, okay? If there are problems in your process, there are cracks in your process, it's going to amplify it. And if your process is really great, your basics are in place, you will get 10x better results. What is the whole purpose of replacing somebody with AI? Cost optimization, right? If I can get 10x more revenue, then my cost is already optimized. So that's the logic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but just correct me if I'm wrong. In 10x people working and doing, I mean, 10x more work than what it was in pre-AI era. Product also needs to have the, I mean, uh, right? Because if 10x people are working in some, I mean, 10 people are working into something, and the product is very small, very niche product, and automatically
Yeah,
it doesn't
absolutely.
make
So see,
sense, right?
I'm going with the assumption that your product is good. Okay. No amount of you can get the Ogilvies of the world, right? And they cannot save a dying product. If your product is bad, even God cannot help you, right? But if your product is great, then even a little bit of marketing support that you give your organization, it'll be 10x more value.
One of the quotes I heard: marketing work is to sales is there because marketing is inefficient. Marketing is there because product is inefficient.
I mean, that traditionally was true. You could sell anything to anybody, right? We've seen those amazing movies also. Right now, you cannot survive without the other. A sales guy just cannot open doors if there is no marketing support. A marketing guy cannot get the right eyeballs if sales is not batting for them, right? And none of them can function if your product is not great. Because today the problem is anybody today can go and create their own AI tools. They'll create their own
Yeah.
products. They can vibe code their way through everything. Which means that my biggest challenge is to make you realize, boss, you cannot build this because there is this level of expertise that's gone behind building that product. Now, you can say, sure, but if your product is bad today, there is no saving. There's no saving for the organization. Your customers will eat you alive. Your investors will eat you alive. Your internal employees will eat you alive. Today, if your product is bad, people end up leaving the organization no matter how great your manager is, no matter how great the salary is, no matter how great the process is. Because they don't see a vision, they don't see a future, they don't see themselves selling that product. If they don't believe in it, they won't sell it.
Okay. Yep. I just want to touch the other things. Distribution, one of the most abused words in internet, LinkedIn in last 2 3 years. And I mean, you were pressing on that, and I just want to double down on that, right? I mean, so far I know when it comes to marketing in the digital era, distribution is more about having your own media more than expecting things from your paid and earned side of things. So can we double click on distribution when you say what that is like the, I mean, moat or one of the defensive
Yes.
factors in the AI era?
Broadly speaking, like if I take 10,000 steps back and I look at what marketing does, there are two things that marketing does. It creates and it distributes. It'll create something, it'll distribute something. The creation piece is taken over by AI, right? So there's nothing left there. Anybody can create quantum shitloads of content today. But the bigger challenge is they fail to understand where to distribute this content. And it's not about having 10,000 channels and selling your content everywhere, right? I need to know where my audience is. Two companies selling the same product will have two different distribution strategies. One of them is succeeding, the other is not. Can I create reels? Absolutely. Today, I'm in a space where I deal with large enterprise companies, head of businesses, MDs, CEOs. I have the capability of creating a lot of short form video content. Is my audience going to resonate with that? Obviously not. He's like a 40 something year old guy with a paunch, almost gray hair. He deals with 2100 people under him. He's not scrolling Instagram. He's not looking at YouTube shorts. So more than creation, it's the distribution that matters. Catching hold of people where they are. It's not just with B2B. It's the same case with B2C as well. In fact, in fact,
Is it?
I had written a book on CRM for B2C companies, right? And one of the
Cool.
topics that I touched on was, do you remember the last Swiggy notification you got? You
I
turn off.
usually turn off all of them.
There's a reason for that. They'll send the same generic notification to everybody on the same channel, and they'll bug you for a day. Do they have your phone number? Yes. Do they have your
Got
email
it.
ID? Yes. Do they send you a WhatsApp message? Rarely. Do they send you an email? You don't even check your promotions tab. The only thing left is notifications. You've turned those off. Catching hold of your audience at the right place is what matters. That's where the distribution mode comes in. And that's where your number of years that you've spent in the industry marinating in that problem, that's where the expertise comes in. So folks who are fearing, I can get a better AI engine, I can use Clay, I can use N8N, I can create workflows, and I'll just automate my entire demand gen function. You cannot do that, right? At the end of the day, you need that expertise. You need to understand, okay, if I'm talking to a head of business or an MD or a CEO of an organization, I need to press on this particular problem and not talk about what I do in general. So that's where
Got it.
that distribution angle sort of comes.
Okay, distribution. So far, what you said, like knowing where to distribute matters a lot. Knowing where your ICP is like roaming digitally or also, I mean, in person. Just
Yeah.
find the place, be present
In
there.
fact, I'll give you a very simple
Got
example.
it.
Okay, when your ICP is a CXO or an above level person, right? Your cost per lead is supremely high. Can I just stand outside their office, take a billboard, and just put my ad there? It'll be way cheaper. He'll he'll go in and out of office, let's say 5 times a day, 5 days a week. He's seeing my ad 10 times. That's my.
Is there any clay that does okay? This CXO goes twice a week, and these are the
I
days
wish I
they go to
wish there was
office.
an area that did that, and that would be borderline creepy and stalking. I hope AI never gets there. My life will become well done.
Yeah. Okay, then why Chirag? I mean, because I've seen few companies doing great job with their own media. I would say Clay is doing great job. SEMrush, Ahref, Arops in the recent times. I like Ramp's content, but I haven't seen the detail because out of my category. Since into marketing, I know all these other tools, marketing and demand gen. But yeah, I mean, why aren't the companies focusing more on their own media, have their opinions, strong opinions, differentiated opinions, and make the place where people want to roam around?
See, it's the first
Yeah.
6 months that scare people. Most marketing functions operate on KPIs, KRAs, and they have quarterly targets and numbers to achieve. When you talk about owned media, there is a ramp up phase. You're practically building a community of followers that are addicted to what you say. That takes time, and nobody has the patience to do that. So, my best option is to go where my audience is already sitting. If my audience is sitting on Reddit, by all means, Reddit is going to be the center of my distribution strategy. Should companies start building communities? Absolutely. A simple WhatsApp group is enough at this point in time. Have a WhatsApp group, have your target audience, your peripheral audience come, join, talk, have conversations there. When people get to learn from each other, they always associate that relationship with your brand. It is baby steps, it takes time.
Right.
It'll take at least a year, year and a half to reach a sizable audience. And then to convince them to talk about your brand on social media, on different forums, dark social for the lack of a better word, right? If my target audience is speaking about me in a Slack group with somebody else where I'm not a part of that conversation, that is earned media. But that takes time to build. That'll be like a year, year and a half. And people don't have that patience.
Okay. I mean, are you doing that or have you done that in your previous orgs? How was that? How that happened?
My experience with
If that happened.
communities has been eye opening. Okay. I work with this organization called WebEngage, and we started building a community. We got a lot of our target audience and senior decision makers on a single platform, and turns out they had a common ask that they wanted to learn more. So we turned that into an initiative, into a project. We built a team, and we went from city to city, just training people on marketing. Right? We do free consult.
WebEngage is
Yeah.
the Series C company.
Series B, if I remember last, I don't know if they've raised another round after that, but sure.
Okay.
So we were a
Okay.
marketing automation platform, right? And we
Yeah.
would go and teach basic marketing to people. How to write great copy. Something as simple as that. we'd look at their numbers. We do a lot of free consultation. All of that eventually ended us winning the biggest deal of our life. I mean, all of our clients in one place, whatever revenue we made from them, and then this one client that gave us that revenue. All because we had that community where their audiences could come and learn. So that's what got me excited on building communities. And then even in my current org, right, we've started building that nascent stages. It will take another year for it to shape and become something meaningful. Anything, any little bit of step in that direction adds value.
How do you project that value to your leadership?
So there are two kinds of founders. Okay, people who understand marketing, people who understand the value of marketing, and then there's the other side where people don't understand marketing. And any activity that you do, you have to sit with them for half an hour and teach them marketing. Okay, you tell them, okay, this is what I want to do, this is why I want to do it, this is what I'm anticipating will come out of it, and if they see value in it, they'll give you a go ahead. Fortunately, I have kept myself away from working with founders who don't understand marketing. When I talk to a founder about marketing role, my first instance is to gauge whether they understand marketing. If they don't, I just take two steps back, because I don't want to spend 6 months in a year just teaching marketing to them and then 6 months delivering it. Fortunately, I've been blessed with good founders who understand marketing, and they just support me. So the other fortunate thing for me is I have a completely free hand to do whatever I want, because marketing essentially, is very new here. So sure, anything that I do, it's like a blank canvas, right? I would rather paint a really ugly Mona Lisa on a blank canvas than restore an existing Mona Lisa, because any color that I throw will add value.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. I think we should do a particular session. I mean, one session alone. How do you understand that your founders know marketing? What is, I mean, there is this term in dating seal called data view, which is more about you just do an interview in your first date and understand the
So I
person.
have a hack for that.
So,
I
I
have a hack
mean,
for that. I just ask
yeah,
one question. What are you expecting marketing to deliver in the first one year? In the first one
sorry,
year,
what?
what are you expecting marketing to deliver? If
Okay.
their answer is vague, random, or they have no clue what they want marketing to deliver, that's when I know I'm going to spend a lot of time teaching them why I'm doing. If you have marketing and if you tell me what your North Star is, my entire 1 year depends on that. So you tell me, okay, I'm looking at lead generation from marketing. Then my entire marketing function is inclined more towards demand generation. If you say brand building and awareness is the piece, then I invest a lot of resources in that. If you say sales enablement is what I'm looking at, then I invest my time and energy in doing that. But that clarity is needed. If you say I'm hiring a marketing team because my investors asked me to, then I'm sorry, hire somebody. I'm not the guy for you.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think recently you saw an article from David Kellogg. So he had this framework for hiring a VP of marketing sops, right? So he just divided that into like four pieces. One is product marketing, demand generation. I mean, sorry, product marketing, growth marketing, outbound,
Content,
and there is one more thing,
brand.
brand marketing. Yeah, content brand. Yeah, brand marketing. So you understand what you want for yourself, then go pick the right leader for you. If not, things will fuck up. So yeah, that was a really interesting session.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
think
that
saw
is
that
also
on
very
Fastner.
dated now, right? If I was to hire
Hmm.
a VP of marketing, I would first look at how inclined are you towards tech. A marketer
Hmm.
with tech skills is a killer combination. And a marketer without tech skills is going to be paperweight in your team. So even within my team, right?
Okay.
If there's somebody who's joined me, my first project for them is go build an AI app and come. I don't know what you want to build. Build whatever you like. You build a calculator for all I care, right? But build something and come to me. In that process, he understands tech. And when he understands tech, he understands the challenges of the product that he's working for, the company that he's working for. And then he's in a better state to sell anything to anybody. He understands those nuances better. He understands why the product is slow. He understands why when you're giving a demo, the Murphy's law always works for them. If something is bound to break, it will break at the very moment when you need it to. So
Right.
that respect for tech comes in after you start building something. And then when you do marketing of that product, you're like, great. You start thinking like a founder, you start thinking like a builder. The street smarts that I need
Hmm.
in our team, that actually comes when I ideally prefer hiring engineers who turn marketers, because they've spent 4 years just convincing people that they know something that they know absolutely nothing about. All their vivas, all their exams, they've just done that. And then they came into marketing and they're doing the same thing all over again. So I prefer hiring such.
I think most of the engineers, I mean, most of the marketers now
Yeah.
studied engineering. I,
See,
I
after
guess so.
engineering, and that's the sad reality of our education system in India. You cannot survive with a family of four on an engineer's salary in a metro city, right? You have to do something. Now, what is that something? You can either do an MS or an ME in India or go abroad, do MTech in India or abroad. You do it in India, you inevitably become a professor in one of the engineering colleges. You go abroad, that's a very big cost investment, right? Capital investment. Or the other thing is you do MBA. If you do MBA, you're great with numbers, you get into finance. If you're not great with numbers, you come in marketing or sales. I mean,
Or sales. Yeah.
the inevitable start for every marketer has been sales. Campus placements are like really bad. All marketers end up in sales roles. They're either selling for real estate, they're either selling for banks, they're either selling for BFSI, whatever it is. They end up in sales at tech.
Yet tech
I mean, for
a
freshers,
lot
I
happening. Yeah.
strongly recommend not joining in tech. It sets
Why
very
Chirag? Why is that?
wrong expectations in your head. EdTech, because it was booming during COVID and that aggressive scale up that happened, their entire sales process that they've nurtured themselves into is very harsh, very strong, and borderline wrong. So,
Toxic. We can say that.
even if you want to be a great sales guy, don't start with EdTech. You're setting really wrong expectations. Imagine that aggression and you join a B2B organization and you're selling a SaaS product to a CXO with that aggression. You're doomed to fail, right? He's going to.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll feel very relaxed if they come with an open mind to a B2B, a mid market or enterprise company, right? I mean, of course, they have their quotas. If I'm saying talking about SDRs, they bring in the pipeline and just relax until it get converted and go for the next round of people. But again, here targets are like very different, and even the compensation is
Targets are
very different and much
different,
better when it comes
more
to
than
job
different, they're
title.
unrealistic. Right? You have a product, but that does not mean that your audience needs it right away. You have aspirations for your investors saying, hey, I want to grow at 100%, 200%, 500%. But the market does not need it today. They probably need it 2 years tomorrow or later, right? In that case, your SDRs are bound to fail. They're opening doors, they'll give demos, they'll have those conversations, but those conversations won't move anywhere, right? When was the last time when somebody reached out to you, built that need for you, and then you ended up buying that product? You knew you had a problem. You were looking for a solution. You went to a website,
Yeah.
explored five different options, requested for a demo, and made a decision. That's the reality. Nobody wants to be sold to.
Okay, when it comes to B2B, right? Now things are changing. If I go look at any website, I get a call from one of their SDRs in a week. All the DNN tools there, it does the job. It makes things a lot easier. What do you think? I think we touched that a bit early, saying things might get creepy, and this is one form of that. Maybe a very light version of that. I look at any website and they found my company and they, I
Yeah,
mean, just
today there are tools that do that,
can find
right?
me and reach out to
Um,
me.
so there are different
Yeah, a
layers.
lot of tools. I mean, I am also the one who is getting benefited with the tool. I'm not
Absolutely.
denying that. But of course, when talking about
See,
the ethical side of things, yeah.
ethically, and I may sound very wrong and I may come across very wrong when I say this, but once you get into marketing, you have to leave some of your ethics outside the door. Okay. And It's not because you have targets to achieve and you'll do whatever that's in your power. It's because there are other people in the organization who are relying on you to do your job right. If I don't achieve the revenue target that I'm supposed to achieve, I'm inevitably calling in a round of layoffs, which means there are families who are relying on me, right? So I'm okay with white hat and gray hat. I keep black hat away from me, but there are people who say, okay, gray hat techniques are bad. We should not stay in that zone. I'm saying let's do it. When none of your competitors are getting into the gray zone, there's no harm in getting in the gray zone. That's a competitive advantage. So,
Right.
I mean, ethically, there are things that you should be doing, but your competitors are using those tools. And if you're not using those tools, you're staying behind. The moment you visit a website, there are reverse IP lookup tools that tell you this company visited your website. There are express checkout tools which tell you this is the person, this is their email ID, this is their phone number, even without you filling out a form. They're slightly expensive, but sure. I mean, the value that you're getting out of these tools is amazing.
What about MQLs, Chirag? Is that dead? Is that really dead? I know. I mean, I'm kind of seeing people after the inception of all these tools. People don't want to collect emails anymore. They reduce doing that. I mean, I won't say
So
completely stop doing, but they reduce doing
there
that.
are two schools of
You
thoughts
feel
here.
that?
Okay. There are people who believe that none
Okay.
of your content should be gated, just give everything to everybody. If there is an interest, they'll come and talk to you. Then there's the other school of thought that if I have that email ID and phone number, what am I doing with it? If I know how to use it well, then absolutely get everything that you can. There's a reason why, Economic Times and Business Standards and all of these, right? Even their articles are gated. Right? I belong to the second category. I believe in gating content
Okay.
because your biggest growth hack is not ungating the world and hoping for leads to come in. Your biggest growth hack is getting your basics in place. If there is a funnel, if there is a stage in the funnel called MQL, there's a reason why it exists, right? If you create those really sequential, granular funnels, your funnels will tell you exactly where the problem in your sales funnel is. What stage are people dying out? Today, I don't know if my content is good or bad. If I don't have things gated, if people don't want to read my content, I have no clue whether they like the content or no. My SEO is great. I drive a lot of traffic. But if I get into the stats, my average session duration on that page is 5 seconds, 7 seconds. Average scroll is 5-10%. If I get that content and if that person comes back for more, I know I'm doing a good job at content. That's how I design my KPIs.
Yeah.
That's how I give my team a direction. Okay, this is what you need to do next. This is how we optimize things. So while it is great for, and this is almost like philanthropy, right? It suits the rich. If I have a lot of traffic, then sure, I don't want to get anything. I'll get a lot of leads. My pipeline is really healthy. But for a startup, for an organization who's in the SMB segment, they can't afford to be a philanthropist at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. One of the other things I feel when it comes to content, brand, and trust, right? I mean, brand trust. Thing is, I always felt that if anyone looking at my website or any form of content I'm putting out or any presence of mine in digital, they should feel that I know what I'm doing. The content should speak about it. Uh, why companies are in this urge of writing more, doing more, not denying that, also doing the same. But why this? I mean, why aren't they doing at least spend their 20-30% time on doing something they feel, I mean, they'll really put
These
themselves
are
out
people
there
who are
as a thought leader.
running behind metrics. Okay. These are people who have their KPIs set in stone. If my target is to drive 20% more traffic next month,
You can't do
you
both
can.
together.
You can. And that's a lack of leadership that comes into play. Okay. If I'm judging you by how fast you can run, then that's the only thing you'll focus on, right? You'll focus on your 0 to 100 time. 100-meter race, how many seconds can I finish that race in? You're not preparing yourself for the marathon. So for me, if my North Star is defined, and then that trickles down into multiple layers that add up to that North Star, then I'm doing a good job. But if I'm judging, let's say, a content writer by cost per word or by uh, how many articles you're publishing in a month, then I'm doomed to fail. Because that person at the end of the day needs to justify their salary. They'll create those X number of blogs and give you. If you put on a
Yeah.
buyer's hat, okay, and if you visit any website, you're looking for content which is either one, entertaining for you, or two, you get to learn something from it. That's where brand trust comes in the second piece, right? If you cannot teach me something, then I'm never coming back to your website ever again. Any content that you
Yeah.
read, any blog that you read, any newsletter that you get, if there is nothing new, you'll unsubscribe immediately. Which means if I don't have the right kind of experts creating that content, now imagine this, right? Your content writer is, let's say, 3 years, 4 years of experience, and you're writing content for a CXO who's 25 years of experience. Imagine a 3-year-old experienced person trying to teach something to somebody who's 25 years in the industry. That's the gap that you
Yeah.
need to fill. And that's where brand trust comes in. So if you're running behind vanity
Got it.
metrics, sure, you'll spam the hell out of Google, you'll create tons of content and you'll hope for something good to happen. And one of those will click. For some reason, magically, one of those articles will work.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
And then you justify yourself saying, as a bundle, I created 500 blogs and my traffic became 2x in 1 month. So what I'll do next month, I'll create 1000. But that 2x traffic came from just one blog that you wrote, not the other 499. So, I mean, you need to get down into numbers and look at things. You can go either.
In the previous episode, I think Rangarajan, who heads marketing at Twixer, he told even numbers, the way you look at numbers matters a lot. A lot of numbers can be manipulated.
Yeah,
However you want to
absolutely.
present, you can
Absolutely.
present it.
And
I think, yeah.
just building on top of that, right? There's a way of looking at numbers. You can call it a Sudarshan Chakra. Uh, the idea is if you know how to read your numbers well, your numbers will tell you where the problem is. Your numbers will tell you what the solution is. I became a fractional about 2 years back for a bunch of organizations, and that's exactly what I did. And they paid me like 6 figures, 7 figures just for doing that, right? I end up building funnels for them. Okay. And I do an example with them. I'll do with you as well. Okay. Right now, my problem statement that a founder comes to me with is my email marketing is not working. My email is not generating leads. Now, if you don't know how to read numbers, your obvious step would be, okay, let's stop email marketing. Let's get into WhatsApp. Let's get into calling. Let's build a funnel on email marketing. Let's say you're sending out 1 lakh emails. Only 20,000 are getting delivered. What is the problem? Your database is a problem, right? So you fix that. Now from 1 lakh, 80,000 are getting delivered. 20% bounce rate, still very bad, but better than where you were. Now, out of those 80,000 that are getting delivered, only 2,000 are getting opened. Now, what's the problem? Problem is your subject line or your inbox, right? You're either landing in spam
Yeah.
or you sound very salesy and people don't want to open it, right? I fixed that. Now, let's say from 80,000, I have 20,000 people who are opening that email, but only 200 people are clicking on it. What's the problem? The body is the problem. Let's fix that. What's the problem with the body, right? Now, let's say from 20,000, 2,000 people click on it. People are coming to my website, but they're not converting. Now, what's the problem? Either my landing page is a problem or the communication that's going out is a problem. There's no resonance between my landing page and the message, right? If you create these sequential and granular funnels for everything that you do, every process, every campaign, you can 6x your revenue easily. And people don't know how to create these sequential and granular funnels. And when I sit with founders and I talk to them about their sales funnel and I do this exact analysis with them, they're like, dude, I did not know about this. This is Latin Greek magic. So yeah. Funnels is like the
Yeah.
most underutilized and most overpowered tool anyone can.
True. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, interesting chat. I think one more question. I think we'll end this chat, and I will also have that quick. Uh, I have a game for you.
Lovely.
We'll do this right after this question. Okay. So yeah. So if a young marketer who is just out of his college wants to
Mhm.
join a B2B SaaS company, I mean, what should they become exceptional at? I think one thing you said, tech with marketing sense would do great things.
Learn
But
to
yeah, I mean,
write.
what are the other things?
Learn to write. No matter what you're doing in B2B marketing, you eventually end up writing something. Could be a deck, could be a blog, could be, I don't know, a one pager, could be a poster, could be anything. Learn to write. If you can't write, then you're the person who's going to get replaced by AI for sure. So, one is you learn to write. Second is be very hungry to learn something new. Don't restrict yourself to the JD. A lot of young folks that I see today, I was hired to do this and I'll do this only. You're restricting your own growth. You have to become a generalist in marketing in the first 3 years of your career. I should be able to pick you and put you in any spot, and I can rely on you saying, hey, okay, I put this person on the job. I don't have stress. He'll do it. I can't do that if you're a specialist. And any specialist that you are for the first 3 years, you sort of become typecast into that role. Let's say 3 years you spent in performance marketing. You get typecasted in that performance marketing role. And then within a vertical, there's a director level that you'll reach at max, right? If your aspiration is to become a CMO
Yeah.
someday, you have to be a generalist. You have to be excellent at sales. You have to be excellent at finance. You have to be excellent at hiring people, right? So you have to be a generalist at every stage of your career. So don't shy away from taking newer projects. Just jump into it and then figure out how to do it later. Just take ownership of things.
Being generalist is a lot easier in this era, I think, than what it was like 5 years back. And I know, I mean, I recently was checking out a new tool, and I was like, oh, dude, this tool has a UI now. I have to learn this. But imagining that 5 years back, you have to do manage 10 different tools every day. Now that is not at all a scene, right? You connect with your Claude or whatever the tool, then you pull the data here and you do. I mean, of course, you have to look into the tool, but
Both
you don't
yes
have
and no
to
on that.
learn that entirely.
Yes, things have become a lot easier. No, because you still can't trust your brand on AI completely. You need humans in the loop. Okay. And with these 10,000 different AI tools coming in, there's a literal death by tools that's happening right now. Right, just today I had a conversation with the team and they asked me for AI subscriptions. Right? They asked me for 12 different tools that they need subscriptions for.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I'll get that, but how are you going to manage these 12 tools? You're going to keep juggling between context setting in one tool and then picking that context, putting it in another tool, and making sure the output is perfect. Right. So, both yes and no on that. It does help if you know how to connect all of this together and then you're there at the right step to make the right checks. Oh, when you just want tools for the sake of it.
Yep, I think the fundamentals didn't change. Even if I asked you 10 years back, you might have said, learn to write, be hungry. So I think tools change. I mean, times
Nothing
change,
has
but yeah,
changed there. Honestly
fundamentals
speaking,
will not, I
it's
guess. Yeah.
just transitioning from a mechanical watch to a smartwatch. We thought it is going to revolutionize the world. Our fitness is going to change. Our health will become 10x better. We'll track calories. We'll track our steps. Nothing changed. Life is still the same. Yeah.
Too much tracking happening now.
But life is still the same at the end of the day.
I think it's for better the way we look at it, right? Well, I have a quick HTML made with Claude that is more about this game, right? You put roles in different tiers, where the S tier is more about, okay, this role gonna boom, and if you go down and it says the role is like doomed, right? So
So
yep, shall we?
people are going to take screenshots of this and then bash me
Oh,
on social media for sure after this.
yep.
Sure.
Hope it reaches more people then. Oh,
Hmm. Nice.
okay. Okay, give me a sec.
Yeah, sure.
Give me a sec, Chirag. I couldn't use that screen. Okay. Here we are.
Yep.
Shall we? Okay, I think I'll remove this CMO VP of marketing. I don't think no CMO VP of marketing will get impacted.
Depends on who you ask. Again, right? I'll circle back to that original point whether the founders get marketing or not. So CMOs, you can put them at an A tier. All the
A
people
tier.
who are
Okay.
clueless will start getting answers. So they'll get better, I'm assuming. So VP marketing, let's add that to the B tier because they'll be more
Okay.
numbers oriented and chasing vanity metrics going forward because quantity equals to numbers, and that's the mindset that the people will run with. Demand gen manager, demand gen would ideally remain unchanged. So when you say demand gen, I'm assuming you're talking about performance marketing, growth marketing, etc.
Yeah. Demand gen is like very generalist
Yeah, sure.
term. Can we
Yeah,
just
sure.
remove that
Let's
here?
move this.
Is that fine? Okay.
Doomed.
So yeah, content
Absolutely
marketer.
doomed. Yeah.
Doom. I mean, of course, a company must have one or two content marketers, right? I wouldn't say a lot of people, but
Ideally,
they
no.
should have
If
one
you
or two
if you
people
have a marketing
in the
manager or
place.
or even a head of marketing, right? You can wear that hat. You don't need content
Mhm.
marketers. They're absolutely
Got
so
it.
many. Yeah, put it on the
Where
F
do I
tier.
put it?
So many end-to-end workflows that create content automatically, post them, automatically engage with people on social media. It's just automated right now. SEO
Yeah. Okay.
specialists will go in the A tier because
Mm.
with AI and AI engine optimization, AEO, GAO, AIO, 10,000 different terminologies.
Yeah.
Everybody's confused. Nobody knows what's to be done. But the core of everything is SEO optimization. So SEO guys will be in demand for
Right.
sure. Performance marketer would pretty much. So there are two ways of looking at this, right? One is what a performance marketer does, and the other is the disruption that the platforms are bringing in. Today, Meta can optimize your ads on the fly. Interesting. Let's keep them on the C tier for now.
Okay.
Email marketer S tier. S tier. If you know how to use AI
Yes,
tools,
dear.
this is going to blow up. Then you have social media manager. Let's put them on E tier because I'm assuming there'll be
E
a
tier.
angle of community building and audience engagement, and I wouldn't want to.
Okay.
Yeah,
They can't be only
so you
social
put them
media
on E tier.
managers.
Product
Okay.
marketing managers, I'll put them on A tier. Brand manager. Let's put them on D tier because a lot of media buying, a lot of brand building is getting automated. So PR comms will remain unchanged because it's not about creating the PR draft; it's managing people and journals. That will remain unchanged. So let's
Yeah.
put that on the C tier. Yeah.
C tier. Okay. If that is unchanged,
Yeah,
it is
it's
not
going to remain
booming.
the
That's
same.
why we are
So I'm
putting that in C
assuming
tier.
it's a spectrum of absolutely great to absolutely doomed. So I'm putting C tier where things will remain unchanged. Marketing ops is S
Got it.
tier. 10,000 tools connecting everything,
Yeah.
managing tools, subscriptions, super high demand.
Super high demand
Graphic designer
at the
at
moment.
a D tier. It's going to decline, but
Okay.
not too much. Copywriter
Yeah.
is F.
Very soon. Yeah. Uh, do you think so?
Long form, short form,
Okay.
or any sort of content that you want. Even your investor presentations that a founder is supposed to create is created using AI today. Your McKinseys of the world,
Yeah.
your
Okay.
Accentures of the world, your KPMGs of the world, even their analysts are using AI to create content. So there's no brains.
But someone has a balls to come up with a word fails force and put it on a balloon. Isn't it a
No,
copywriter magic?
that's a field marketer's brain. What's going to catch attention?
Okay. Okay. What about the copy there? I mean, They would have put it something else, right?
Okay, so just because you have a strong affection towards copywriters and sympathy towards copywriters, let's put them on D. IT for me, it's an F, but let's put them on D.
Sorry, D. Okay.
Event marketers will remain unchanged. Anything to do with people management is pretty much going to remain unchanged. It'll be a C tier. Marketing analysts. Marketing analysts. They will boom, but they'll become obsolete very soon. I'll put them on a B tier.
B
They
tier.
will
Okay.
boom because people are clueless. They want answers. They want data. But eventually, when they realize that they're living in a black box and tracking and attribution is becoming even more difficult, it's going to die out. Life cycle marketer. I'll put them on. Yeah.
More of a
I'll put
customer
them on a
marketing person. Yeah.
B tier.
B tier. Yeah, sure.
ABM manager. N8N is their Achilles heel, man. I'll put them on a D tier. So they'll try it first, and then people will
D
realize
tier.
these tools
Okay.
don't work, and then they'll come back.
So then why D tier?
Immediately for the next 6 months, they're doomed.
Okay. Right. Yep. Interesting. Interesting.
I hope
Marketing
nobody takes
ops,
a
email
screenshot of
marketing.
this.
Yep. Okay, we'll get back to our chat. Awesome, Chirag. Yep, that was a good one. Okay, with this,
I love the
we'll wind
conversation. I
this.
love the way you did your research and caught me on points that I would ideally be very uncomfortable talking about. But
Really,
lovely having a conversation with you, man.
thank you, Chirag. Thank you. Thank you so much for making the time. Very interesting chat, and I was very comfortable doing this. If someone else, I would be like little in that mode, right? So, yep. Thanks
Sure.
for making me comfortable doing
Same.
this.
Thanks,
Yep,
man.
good chatting.